Okay, so now we're going to go into the pec fly machine. The reason I put the foam roller here is because it gives me better positioning to where I'm really focused on getting a nice stretch in my pec at the bottom of the movement. And at the top of the movement, just really able to continue to think about driving my elbow across my pec as much as I can while keeping my scapula retracted. To be able to take your pec and recruit it as the best you can, and to be able to get the best contraction you can, you want to think keeping your scapula retracted back. So I always think about back and then slightly down, so then it helps keep my sternum higher in a better position. And then through that movement, once I get into the bottom of the movement, I'll feel that extra stretch at the bottom because of the foam roller. And I just think about constantly driving my elbow across my pec the entire time to get a better contraction in my chest. Some people are around it like this and they're all over the place. When you're really able to lock in and stay in position with that and just focus on driving your elbow across your chest, you're able to get better contraction throughout your pecs. Yeah, I mean the thing is too, you don't gotta get super heavy on these either. You can keep them fairly light and just focus on the squeezing and focus on the contraction, the movement itself. Like, you know, you don't need to load the whole stack. You know, I'll see guys like loading the whole thing up. I'm like, come on, you know, you're not gonna feel it. You're not gonna grab your chest. You know, I mean, sometimes getting the pad to stay, you know, in the right position before you start is like the hardest part.
Yeah.
Or the foam roller.
And just keep taking the mats out. I can do like a 16-inch box now pretty easy. Oh yeah. That's the thing I was thinking about. We do like 5 plates or something, 6 plates. Dude, your train's just crazy. It's just like, I got these little
you don't have to crank your volume through the roof. I mean, you can hit 2 hard working sets on a movement and you'd be okay when it comes to stuff like this or even a pressing movement. The biggest thing is intensity. I'm gonna take intensity on your top working sets for, you know, 2 sets all out or even 1, depending on what the movement is, over a ton of volume. If you're doing 4 sets of like tons of volume, 10 to 12 on like a movement or really trying to build and grow the muscle in the off season, more likely you're going to be burning through more calories than what you're consuming. But even if your nutrition's at a point where you're in a caloric surplus, you're still not going to be able to grow the muscle, I think, as efficiently as just keeping your intensity extremely high for those 2 working sets or few working sets and really pushing it. Here I'm doing 3 working sets, hitting between 8 to 10 reps roughly, and feels really good. But I don't exceed anything more than 3 sets here because then the intensity starts to drop, and I try to keep my intensity high through every set because I feel like it's super important for muscle growth. And it's a plus because your recovery is going to be better because you're not doing tons and tons of volume that's just creating this amount of fatigue that you're more likely not going to be able to recover from. So that's why this off season, despite my quadricep rupture, has been so great for me, is because I've lowered my volume on certain movements, especially my accessory stuff, and just gave more intensity on the working sets I have, which has made me progress more in weight. It's made me grow more tissue, and it's just been an overall better route than me just doing insane amounts of volume. Sometimes I'll do like I pushed it for a long time. I still do in my training, but the see the cable fly, like the bench on like the cable fly station, like in an upright position. I like that because I mean pretty much you're in the same position, you're stabilized. Of course it's the cable, so it's a little more free range of motion too, which I'll keep going on that and trying to keep linearly progressing and hit rep PRs or small PRs with like a 10, 15 pound jump, and then I'll rotate it out of my training about 4 weeks or so. Then I'll throw in something like this, run it for about 4 weeks. Keep trying to progress on that. Then if it stalls or I want to throw a different movement in, I'll go ahead and swap it out. But the biggest thing is a lot of guys will swap exercises too often when it comes to accessory work, and they think that they're not getting sore, so they'll try to put a new movement in, and it's just a new stimulus, so they're getting sore from that, not necessarily from them actually training the muscle. So you can just stabilize too. Like if you're doing like hitting rear delts, you can really just take your sternum, slam it through the pad, and really just brace and stabilize. So then it takes out any movement at all. So like all the focus is on the rear delt, stuff like that. After rear delt, medial delt, and front delt, all that stuff. Of course, front delt's usually over dominant in most cases for majority of people. So bringing it up there, rear delt and everything to help stabilize the shoulder. What I'm doing now is some incline Smith machine press. The reason I like this movement is because it takes out the factor of having to really stabilize as much as you have to with regular barbell. This is a really nice piece, super smooth. It's one of my favorite Smith machines I've ever used, hands down. What's nice too with the bands, so when we set the bands up, it kind of gives it a better counterbalance with the weight. It makes it feel a little better. It makes it on the concentric portion, you can really focus on the contraction a little bit more as well. Those are micro minis, so you're not going to get a lot of help on that. It's not like a red mini or something like that, or a band that has a little more help. So those are definitely nice. I like adding those on there. I'll probably work up to about 2 plates and a quarter, so like 275 roughly. And then it feels good. Might go 3 plates. We'll just see how things go. Gonna do like 2 hard top sets, and then probably 1 back off set with like some tempo work. Really go for like a set of failure, maybe like aim for about 10 reps or so. Be light. Probably plate in a quarter. Yeah, probably plate in a quarter. Tempo. That's about it. I'm gonna go for like 8 to 10. Just helping like racking is all I really need.
Yep. Hey, Sparky, get the other side. Make it easy.
What are we doing?
I'm just going for like 8 to 10. Just help me rack it. That's it.
Yeah. There you go. Come on. Come on. Twist.
There we go.
Who would not?
That felt pretty good. I'll probably take 1 more set there and my back down set. I'm gonna go like just failure 8 to 10 hopefully. And then I'll probably do back off set, but it'll be like 2 plates, maybe a plate and a quarter.
Okay. So fuck this up. Come on. There you go.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty smooth.
Scholar and a gentleman.
Better than Sam. Sam was so much stronger.
All right, so we just finished doing incline Smith machine press. That last set I did a tempo set. Kind of gave like a 3 or 4 count on the eccentric, with probably about 3 count honestly, with a slight pause at the bottom. Just for like a set of, I think it was 10. And then that's it. That's all my pressing I'm going to do today. I'm going to go into a pec fly next on the pec deck machine, and then I'm also going to go into a side lateral, probably upright row movement, and then a rear delt movement for shoulders as well. I'm not going to do any shoulder pressing today. I'm pretty smoked from doing that and then regular bench as well. And my shoulders have always been pretty dominant in my physique, so I really need to focus on bringing my chest up more than anything before I get on stage in December. A couple of cues I'll use for that incline Smith machine press is that I always think about there's a hook on my sternum or on my chest that's bringing me to the ceiling. So I always make sure I get my scapula retracted and really think about keeping my chest big. Really it really helps with the contraction of my chest on the eccentric and concentric portion as well. So those are some few things that I keep in my mind and always remember throughout the exercise.